Hey everybody, it's Heidi. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my completed colorings since my last video, which was in the middle of July. So this will be all my completed colorings for the last month and a half. And let me just move this off to the side. And we'll get started because I have quite a big stack next to me. I've been coloring a lot the last while. I've been really getting into it. So first, I don't really have this in any particular order, but I just have the loose pages and the small books on top. So first I have the mini Pusheen coloring book. And I think this is Claire Belton. And also another thing is some of these books I haven't hauled yet. So not that anyone remembers what's in my collection or not. So I just thought I'd mention that. I haven't filmed my haul video. So the first one is this page, and I just finished this recently. I did this with, I have a gesso base, clear gesso, because I wanted to try out some watercolor kind of techniques. Although I didn't use watercolors per se, I used paper made flares, and I just went around the outlines, like around here, you know, all around the black outlines, and then I went over it with a watercolor brush, a really tiny brush, and just a little bit of water, and it works just like watercolor. So I really like how the effect of that. There were a few places where you can see, like there, and a couple spots there where I didn't quite get the gesso to cover smoothly, which really annoys me, because I did 2 coats thinking that would be a guarantee against it, but apparently not. So maybe next time, I don't know, 3 coats, we'll see. Let's see, and I also used some iridescent watercolors for the clouds. See right there, and for Pusheen's little fire impermeable bubble that she's in. But I think that's turned out pretty cute. And then the other page I did in this book was this one. This was the first one that I did in here. It's got some sparkle going on. Let's see, what did I use? I used an ultrafine Sharpie on this one, a Blick Studio brush marker on this one, and I used Spirit pencils for some shading, and some Wink of Stella I used on that little fish, and I think I put Wink of Stella on the mermaid tail too. And then I used some glitter glue on top of the mermaid tails to give it some extra sparkle, and a metallic gel pen somewhere in here. I don't remember where I put that. And then for the background, the metallic gel pen is for the background, for these little dots in the water, for kind of like bubbles. And then in the background I use King Art gel sticks with a brush, dry. And you can't really, I guess it's fairly light. So there's that one. And next we have this one that I just finished this morning. This is the original colored printed card. And this came with the Alan Roberts tarot deck that you can color, but this was a bonus. I think there were 5 bonus HP Lovecraft themed cards, and I wanted to start with this one to try out some media and see what would work the best, what wouldn't work on these cards, because the cards are sort of strange. They're matte, but it's not like exactly like a cardstock. It's got a little bit of a sheen, like a satiny finish, and it's a little bit different than anything I've used before. So I tried pencils first. I went over most all of it with Castle Art pencil, and it turned out to be quite light. So then I thought, let's try some water-based markers, see how that works. So I used some Crayola Super Tips I went over what I'd already done. Not this blue here, this is all pencil, the blue and white here, but all the red and orange, that is Crayola Super Tips on top of pencil. And then I did the same here. And then I tried using them like watercolors, and I got out my tiny little brush and used some water to try to blend that around, and that actually worked great. So apparently these cards act like watercolor paper to some extent. So I think that these cards would be great for a lot of different mediums, which is really awesome. But yeah, here's the comparison. There's the original and there's mine. Mine is not quite as dark, but I sort of like it that way with a little bit more highlights. So there's that. The next one I have in my stack is this. It's got a little bit of a in there. This is on watercolor paper. What I did with this is this image I traced from Rachel Reinhardt's color workshop, one of the sample pages in the back. I traced it using my light pad with the pencil, and then I went over all the black lines that you see are micron pen. And then after that was done, I used Papermate flares for all the watercolor effects. So I just sort of went along the edges of the black lines, and then I went in with a little brush and some water to see what that would do, and it turned out amazing. I was really, really happy with how that worked. It acts just like watercolor, but it's more vibrant. So I used just a few colors in this. I used a gray, a red, an orange, a purple, and a black, and I think that was it. But I was able to get some blending effects that I liked a lot, and I'm really excited about this way of coloring. If I could just do this for everything, that would be amazing. But it takes, it's quite time intensive to trace it and then go over it and then color it. So if you had a big page, a full-size page, it would take quite a long time. Next one that I have is, see if I can get it in the frame. This is from Hannah Carlson's Magical Dawn Artist Edition, and I have only 2 left to color in this, and then I will be finished. This would be my first finished book, although there aren't that many. It's, you know, only a selected number of images from Magical Dawn. It's not the entire book. But anyway, it would be exciting to have a finished book. So there's this one. So with this one, I think I got it on the back, yeah. For this one I based it with Lemachet and Touch New markers. And then I went over it with polychromos for the shading, all the pencil work on the face, and anywhere else on the flowers and the hair. I used a Crayola pencil background for the light pink here, you know, all of this sort of halo effect around her. I just wanted a really light, kind of an aura. And Crayolas are great for that because they're not that pigmented, so you can get a really kind of light effect with them. And then I used a little bit of white gel pen on the jewels, I think. I don't know where else, probably just the jewels. And also on these little, the little dots here, little sparkly bits. Can't really fit this in the frame entirely. So that's that one. And then also from the Magical Dawn Artist Edition, I did this page. And apparently I have this set up so you can't really see the entire thing, which is not great. I'll have to remedy that in the future. But I hope you can get the idea. Anyway, let's see. So this one, I started out with Winsor & Newton watercolors for the beetle, or the scarab, or whatever that is. Let's see. And then I went over it with Prismacolor pencils for some additional shading. And I used Neocolor 2s for the background. And then I went over that with more Prismacolor pencils to even it out, because I always get sort of a patchy effect with Neocolor 2s. And then I used Sparkle Pop, the gold Sparkle Pop gel pen. Oh, for all the, you can see where it is, obviously. It just pops off the page. And then I used some white gel pen, like for the highlights on the jewels. And a little bit on the wings and other places. So just hold it up a little bit so you can see. But, oh, and I'm just realizing now that I forgot to do these. Like, I'll have to go back and fix that. Oops. So there's that one. And I just need to adjust my piles over here. Okay. So the next one I've got is from A Million Cats by Lulu Mayo. And I did this page, not too much. This was a little bit of an experiment with distressing backgrounds. So I did the background first with a few different colors, sort of like a sage green and a couple different blues of distress ink, and I used some brushes to apply it. But I went into the image because I wanted to see if the colored pencil would cover the distress ink or if it would show. And because I always get some overlap, you know, when you're applying the background into the image. So but it did work pretty well. You can't really see where that overlapped. The Prismacolor pencil covered it pretty well. So yeah, Prismacolors and distress inks. And then I went around the edge a little bit more with some pencil. So there's that. And I've just got my, this is totally random, I just have my stack, kind of like smaller books to larger books. So the next one I have in my pile is Square Mandalas. This is the Belba family one. And not that one, this one. I did this one. And this was done with paint pens. I just got those recently. The Uhu paint markers. And I really love how this turned out. Paint markers are kind of amazing, and I love them. I'm not sure how much I used. It seems like I used up a lot of the pen. It's hard to tell. But yeah, I'm a big convert to paint markers now, especially for this kind of books, because the coverage is amazing. I think those colors are really vibrant and pretty. So yeah, because I wasn't really having success with these books, but I like this a lot. And let's see, the next one in my stack is Nifty by Angie Grace. This is for crayons and wide tip markers. And I did color this page. And I used crayons, Crayola crayons for this. I was kind of in a crayon mood for a little bit this month. Yeah, so not too much to say about this. I just, tried to get some shading and layering, layered different colors, tried to have a little bit of a 3D effect there, and I like how that turned out. Next one is Balance from Angie Grace, and these are mandalas, and I'm going in order with this book. So the next one is this one, and I just went for sort of a more limited palette than I usually do. Instead of my crazy bright colors, I just chose some blues and greens and tried to get some contrast at least. It looks like black, but it's actually a dark blue, the darkest color that you see. And this was with, did I say Staedtler 320s, which is the double-ended felt tip marker, water-based. And I like how that turned out too. It was fun. The next one is it's not technically coloring, but I consider it coloring anyway. I found this circular grid notebook, polar coordinates. I was like, what the heck is this? This is interesting. At my local art, actually it's the Blick store in my neighborhood, and the pages look like this, and I was like, ooh, that looks like fun. So I picked it up, and I just started messing around, making a mandala with Staedtler fine liners. So I did this, just making patterns, and it was really fun. It was super fun, actually. And there were a few moments where I was like, I don't know how this is working out, but in the end, I really like how that looks, especially from a distance. I think it looks pretty cool. And so it's very thin paper. Let's see, what is the Koala Tools is the brand. I'm not sure if you can get this on Amazon. You might be able to, but I got this at Blick. So yeah, that was fun. I'm looking forward to doing more of that kind of thing. And the next one in my stack this is also new this month, or in the past couple months, Owls by Marjorie Sarnott. And I did the first page in here. Maybe I should just lay it flat for now. And in here I used big markings, Blick Studio brush markers, ultrafine Sharpies, Prismacolors for some of the shading, and also the background, the light blue background is Prismacolors only. And then I used some Sparkle Pop gel pen for some of the, I don't know, yeah, there you can see those little things right there. So this was just, one of these really colorful summery pages that I was in the mood to do this month when it was probably super hot out. So really happy with that. The next one is from Geometric Interlude Volume 1 by Kyle Wood. And I did this page, which kind of broke my brain a little bit while I was doing it, and like trying to create a pattern and have the colors sort of balance out. But it worked out in the end. It was fun. I use Sharpie Ultrafines and Bic markings, which are the Bic intensities now. So yeah, I really wish you could see this whole thing in the frame. Yeah, so there's that. I like it. Next one is By the Sea, Color by Number by George Tufexis, and this is also new, past couple months. And I just did this little intro, or the title page image, which had numbers on it. So I was like, why not? Just try it out. So I tried out Arteza pencils, and they worked okay on this paper. I wasn't as happy with them as I was with the Black Widows. They seemed a little bit harder to get like a totally smooth surface. But I like it, and I used some Jelly Roll to get the wave effects on the water. So that was By the Sea by George Tufexis. And then the next one in my pile is Decorative Tile Designs Coloring Book by Marty Noble. And this is a Dover book that has the double-sided, really thin paper. So even your water-based markers will go through. So on this book, I used gesso on the first page, and I decided I'm just going to do that on all the pages so that I can use my water-based markers and still not have to sacrifice the other side of the page. So I used a clear gesso base on this one and Staedtler 320s on everything. And then I went over stuff with, like, I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you kind of see, I tried to get a little bit of depth with some pencil. I used Crayola pencils. So yeah, like how that one turned out too. And then next one I've got here is Greatest Hits by Jade Summer, 100 Best Coloring Pages. And this is also a new book. Got a lot of new books this month. I did this wolf page, the first page, because it was really hard. I was flipping through and it was just so hard to choose which one to start with. So I just did this one. I used Lemachet markers as a base, and then Crayola pencils for the background, and also Prismacolors for some of the background and on the wolf, like mostly just around the face, like right here, for some shading. But I didn't do very much shading on the rest of him. So yeah, like I was pleased with how this worked out. And then let me see, let's switch it up a little bit and move to something different. So Spirit Animals by Hannah Carlson, and I don't think I had colored in here before, but I got a set of the 120 set of Brute Fooder squares this month, and I needed to try them out. So I just picked a book and tried them out. So this was the first thing that I did with them. And I really like how they work on this paper. Did that tiny little hummingbird, and I used some gel pen around the outside for those little sparkles. And then I did this page also with the Brute Fooners. And what else did I use? I used King Art gel sticks, dry, on the inside here, this light pink. It's really hard to see almost. I used some glitter gel pens. You can see the sparkly, like the sparkly stars on the girl's cheeks, and some of the jewels, and see what a white jelly roll too. But yeah, I was pretty happy with the way the Brute Fooners handled on this paper. There's that. I'm gonna skip in my pile because this next one was one that I also used the Brute Fooners on, and they came out totally differently on the paper in this book. So this is Pop Manga Mermaids and Other Sea Creatures by Camilla D'Erico. And I did this page with the narwhal and the little girl. Super cute image. So I used, not Lemachés, Brute Fooner squares on this. And I didn't like quite as well how they handled on this paper. This paper is very smooth, and the pencils didn't, I don't know, I think they need something with a little more tooth. I mean, they work okay, but it wasn't my favorite. Let's see, what else did I use? I used King Art gel sticks on the background, the light yellow just around the edge. And then glitter gel pens on the, not all of the flowers, but strategically placed on some of the flowers, just to get a little bit more sparkle and color in there. So there's that. And then the next one I did was Fairy Tales, a coloring book by Selena Fennick. And this is on Amazon paper. And I did this page. Again, not liking how I can't show you the entire page. And this is Beauty and the Beast. I really like how this turned out. I used Schmierfarben pencils, Prismacolor pencils, and a colorless blender to try to get some darker shadows in the corners. It worked a little bit. Yeah, on the whole, I'm very happy with how this came out. I think her dress is actually supposed to be yellow in the movie anyway, but this is one of my favorite colors, and I was just immediately drawn to this color in my Schmierfarben set, and I was like, yeah, that's what it needs to be. It's like this French blue with some purple shading. What else? And I really enjoy trying to get this effect with the light. I don't think it worked completely. It should probably be much darker over in this part of the page, but I'm still happy with it. So that was in Fairy Tales by Selena Fennick. And then I've got Millie Murata's Wildlife Wonders. And with this one, the koala page, so cute. I use Crayola Super Tips as a base on the koala, and then I went over you know, like the individual areas with Arteza pencils to get some shading. And then I did a Crayola background, Crayola pencils with this pink all around. I wanted that kind of hazy, soft aura kind of effect. And then, oh, and then I used the white General's chalk pencil for the highlights in the eye. I don't know if you can see, I kind of tried to get like a really like light faded effect so it makes it look a little bit rounded. I don't think you can really see it in the camera, but and then used it for the highlights. So, but I think it looks pretty good. I was happy with how that guy turned out. And then the next one is another new book, Gulliver's New Travels, Coloring in a New World by James Gulliver Hancock. And this was a book that I got on Book Outlet. It was kind of, not a blind buy, but it was sort of, I saw it for a really good price and looked for a flip through and found one. And it's all about, this book is all about traveling. Like the theme is travel, and it's kind of this doodly, loose, kind of Zentangly almost style, and I really liked that, so I picked it up. And then I did this page, the passport page, and I did this with Castle Art pencils, and they work really, really great on this paper. It's a smooth paper. Castle Arts, I find, work particularly well on smooth paper. Yeah, and I'm happy with, I started out with the dark blue to kind of match what American passports look like. They're that really dark navy blue, and then just like went wild with the colors around it, and I like how that balances out. Yeah. And let me see here. Next one is in 50 Animal Mandalas, Color by Number by Sachin Sachdeva. This was another new book to me this month because it looked really, really cute. I've been seeing a lot of people get this book. And I did this page, which is the, I'm not sure what this little guy is supposed to be. Maybe a coati. My husband thought it looked a little bit like a coati. It could be. I don't know. And let's see. So I used Bic markings for the base, and then Black Widows on top for some shading. And the colors I thought were a little bit weird together, but I liked it better after I did some shading. I kind of like, I don't know, tried to balance it out a little bit more. This peachy orange for the face is a little off or a little odd to me, but I do like it. In the end, I like it. So there's that, 50 Animal Mandalas by Sachin Sachdeva. And then I did a couple pages in Sun Life Drawing 40 coloring pages. It seems like I do something in here. I have something in here every video since I got it. This one was just super quick. You know, one time when I wasn't feeling anything else. So I used, let's see, it was the Bic Intensity Fines, which went pretty fast. They're the larger tip. So, went really quick. And that was from the One Color Arts Birds and Flowers. That was the original books I was in. And then during my Crayola crayons phase this past month, I also did this page from Unicorn Coloring Book. And this is all with... Actually, I do have some gel pen. Yeah, I was going to say it's all with crayons, but I do have a little bit of gel pen in a couple spots. Yeah, so that was super fun. This page reminded me of my childhood and coloring with crayons and coloring books. And I just wanted to have fun. Yeah, it was fun trying to get some shading there. Yeah, happy with how that turned out. And then the next one, this is a new book, Summer Silhouettes. This is also from Some Life Drawing. And I did want, as long as I've got this here, I'll just show you quickly if I can find it. I didn't mark it. Where is it? Maybe I won't be able to find it. There is a page from this book in here someplace. Of course I won't be able to find it. Oh, here. So I did this page from Summer Silhouettes using just a fine liner, and I made these little dots all over it to fill it in instead of just coloring it all one color, and it was really fun. So it was kind of in the back of my mind to get this book and try some other things with the silhouettes. So I got the book, and I did one page up here with Crayola Super Tips, and this is this style of coloring with dots that I got from the next book in my pile, which is Lots of Dots by Anna and Sheena. So you can see that there right on the cover. So I used that as inspiration and just did this page with a few colors of reds and pinks and oranges and yellows. Just seemed like a really fun, summery page. It was really quick. I finished that in a couple hours. And then back to the one that inspired that, which is Lots of Dots by Anna and Sheena. And another time during the month when I was just in the mood for filling in dots, I did a whole bunch of these pages. I did the butterfly. I'm going to go through these quickly. So these were all with Crayola Super Tips. The butterfly, the tulip, these leaves, maple leaves, the palm leaves, the frog, the snail, and the owl with a little moon up there. So these are fun. That was just like, I did those over a couple of days. They're super quick and fun to do. And the last thing in my pile is Watercolor with Me in the Ocean by Dana Fox. And this was one that I got in my last coloring haul. I think I bought it in June. And I got this out this month. And I was in the mood for doing some watercolor. And I just did this first page, which is just the practice page. She has instructions for how to do wet on wet with a watercolor. And I happen to have the exact same watercolors that she uses in this book, which are Winsor & Newton Cotman watercolors. So that worked out well. And mine don't match, obviously, but I don't think that matters. So I just did some of these little practice tests, and then I did the first page in here, which was the sea turtle, and it turned out like that, and I like how it came out. It was really, and it says somewhere in here, it says, don't let it intimidate you, it's really easy. And I was like, yeah, sure. But it really was. It was really easy. All you do was wet the area, color it with one color, drop in some dots of another color, and it just does its thing. And it's just a one wash with a light color on the rest of the body, and then you just go in and do a little bit more shading with the same color, and then you let it dry and go back and do all these little spots. So it was super easy to do, and the result is impressive based on how easy it was, I think. So yeah, that was really fun, and that was the last thing in my stack of books. So yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching if you made it all the way through. Thanks to my subscribers, the older subscribers who have been with me for a while, and the new ones too. I really, really appreciate you all. Yeah, it's good to be back. I've been coloring a lot, but I've also been watching a lot of videos. I've been watching a ton of completed pages videos from everyone, trying to find new colorists that I've missed in the past, and just being inspired all around. So it's been really fun month and a half since my last videos. So yeah, I'll be back with haul in the next couple of weeks. I've got a lot to haul, so stay tuned for that. I hope to see you in the next video, and stay well, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks guys, bye.